Welcome back to MS General Repair. My name is Mike. Today we're going to be servicing this Armstrong Ratchet. It belonged to my father. It's a very good quality ratchet. Feels like the head's all gummed up. It doesn't function properly. Hopefully it just needs to be disassembled and cleaned. And if not, we'll see if there's a repair kit available for it. So, but it skips, and the selector is pretty gummy. So we'll see what's going on with it. It could be just dirt and old grease in there, but we'll see what we can do with it. There's a couple screws in the head here that likely hold in the ratchet mechanism, so we'll take those out and see if that gets us inside where we need to be. So we've got the drive gear, and it seems pretty good. And the selector ratchet here, I don't really see at the moment any major problem with that. There is quite a bit of rust. Well, not quite a bit, but there is some rust down in there. It spent quite a bit of time since after his retirement out in the toolbox in a damp shed, and that seems to have taken its toll on it a little bit. Let me get my cheaters, and we'll see if we can see how this selector mechanism pops out of there. Okay, so it looks like you drive out the selector knob is on the shaft of it through that ratchet pawl, or whatever you want to call it, and that's gonna get this part out of here, which it did. So now we've got the selector lever, detent ball, and the detent tension spring. So let me bring you back in over here, and we'll take a look at the parts of it. Okay, so we've got the drive gear, and I don't know what you would call this, a selector dog, or the ratcheting dog, something. This is the detent ball that interacts with the back side of it here to select clockwise or counterclockwise, and the selector knob and the detent spring, a couple of screws that hold it together, and the back plate, and the inside of it needs a pretty good cleaning up. So I'm going to take this over and throw it in the parts washer, clean up these parts, and then I'll probably put a wire cup wheel in the Dremel tool that should be small enough to get down in there, polish it out a little bit, and then we'll lubricate and reassemble it, and then it'll be good for another 50 years. A nice American made product. It's Armstrong 12-903 half-inch drive ratchet. You can see it's got a quote-unquote ergonomic handle before ergonomic was even a word. But so, you know, it's a very, very well made American made ratchet, proudly stamped USA after Armstrong. So we'll see if we get this cleaned up and give it the maintenance that it deserves. I'll be back with you in a couple minutes. Okay, I had a little change of plans. Instead of putting it through the parts washer, I'm going to put it through the hot ultrasonic bath, because that can get into all the little tiny nooks and crannies, including up in the bore where the detent ball and detent spring go. So that's heating up right now. Probably going to run it through one cycle while it's heating, and then I'll wait until it's fully heated and run it through a second cycle. So I'll get back at you when it comes out of the bath. Okay, so the ratchet is back out of the ultrasonic bath, and I'm just going to give it a little once over with a piece of Scotch-Brite to get off the surface rust a little bit. It did a pretty good job getting down into the inside of the head. I don't even need to go into that with the Dremel tool. Everything cleaned up nice. I've got the small parts basket for the ultrasonic cleaner. These things are great. I've got two of them, two different sizes. This is the larger of the two. If you do anything with small parts, if you're into rebuilding carburetors and things like that, and you have a lot of small little stuff, I highly recommend that you get one. They're just a great way to keep from hunting and fishing around the bottom of your ultrasonic cleaner, looking for tiny stuff, or being afraid to put things in the ultrasonic cleaner for fear that they'd get lost in there or something had happened. But it cleaned up everything really nice. The detent spring came out really nice. That was a rusty mess. The detent ball was all shiny and new. So I'm just going to blow these off with some compressed air, and then I'll give them a little bath with some Marvel Mystery Oil and reassemble it. I'll be back in just a second. Okay, I've got everything blown off and ready to go. I've got a little bit of Marvel Mystery Oil here in the cap, and an El Cheapo artist brush, and I'm just going to paint all this with some Marvel Mystery Oil. Marvel Mystery Oil was a favorite of my father and his father before him. When we were kids, we used to take Marvel Mystery Oil, a bucket of it, and he'd have us take the roller chains off of our go-karts and mini bikes and bicycles and stick them in the bucket of Marvel Mystery Oil and let them soak overnight, and then wipe them down in the morning, put them back on whatever they came off of, and go have fun. That was back before we had computers or TVs with 300 channels and nothing to watch. And you learned how to fix your mini bike or your go-kart or whatever it was that you had. He'd show you how to do it, and then you better learn how to do it yourself if you wanted to go play, because otherwise when it broke you had to wait till he had time to come and help you with it. Not that he wouldn't come help you with it, but he worked all day, and then after work he cut lawns for extra money. And so, you know, if you wanted to go have fun and not have to wait on the old man to find time to help you, then you had to learn to be a little self-reliant. Okay, so everything's all oiled up, and now we'll see if we can get this put back together. So we've got the detent spring that's got to go down into this bore here. Take off these gloves because all these small parts are hard to finagle with baggy finger gloves. And then the deep temp ball has to go in there and sit on top of the spring. And then we've got to get the selector down in here. And I don't think I'm going to have to be able to do this on camera, because I've got to get the ratchet sitting upright with that detent bore at 6 o'clock, it looks like, so everything will sit in there. So I'll be back in just a sec. Okay, so I've got that all started together with the selector lever into it, and now I'm just going to take a little brass hammer and drive these back together. I've got it set up on top of a little bench anvil, and that's all working good. The detent's snapping in the way it should. So now we'll put the drive gear back in, and the back retainer plate, and the 2 screws that have to come in from the face side here. Put a little more mystery oil on the detent ball for retaining the socket. And now it's a good, usable 1/2-inch drive Armstrong industrial ratchet. There's nothing wrong with that ratchet. That's probably 50 or 75 years old, and it's still nice and tight. I don't know whether it's ever had a rebuild kit put in it in its life or not. It may have. I know that my father had been retired for years, and this is a good ratchet that was built before Armstrong and Proto and everybody else got swallowed up by the conglomerates and started putting up lesser quality tools with a quality name that everybody trusted, like Armstrong. It's a shame that things have gone that way, but I don't think that if you bought an Armstrong ratchet today that they'd be the same quality as this one. So that's it. Thanks for stopping by and watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment if you like. I'm going to be making a series of videos on tool maintenance and tool repair, just because you have quality tools and they need to be upkept. These smaller videos, I have a little more time to practice editing and things, so that when I make more in-depth videos on larger projects, I can hopefully make a more cohesive video or series of videos. So again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.